Vertices Unite is one of my favorite Westknits shawls to knit because it's so easy, lots of garter stitch with really geometric fun collage of colors. You're going to need 5 colors of fingering weight yarn. It comes in a small and a large size. This is the large size, so if you have 100 grams of each color, that's more than enough, or 2 skeins of Westwool Bicycle is what I used for this sample. So 5 colors. The new pattern, we just did a fresh layout for the Vertices Unite pattern. So it's just like the original Vertices Unite. We've got those tutorial step-by-step instructions for the written instructions. And this video, I'm gonna show you that pickup for section 3. So this is a modular shawl, which means you're knitting the sections together. There's no seaming, you get to garter stitch and increase, and then when you pick up stitches, you knit the edge stitches together to the neighboring sides. So you don't have to sew anything, and it looks like this on the wrong side. So you can skip ahead to the section 3 tutorial in this video. Otherwise, the color layout you're gonna be doing is gonna be colors A and B for section 1, colors C and D for section 2, and color E for section 3. And then all the colors, like colors A, B, C, and D, are used again in different ways. Like color D, you'll see as a solid color. But one of the new things about the Vertices Unite new PDF is that there's a handy schematic where I wrote the section numbers. You'll see the arrows which show the direction that you're knitting, and it has the colors for each section. So use that little illustration in your PDF as a map to plan. You could even print it off and draw your colors and plan your color story for the Vertices Unite. So you're gonna get this big pattern, the big shawl pattern, when you download Vertices Unite. And I also put a new PDF together, which is a mini version. So if you like to make like mini doll clothes, you could make these. But I made this pattern so you could play with colors. You could also check the gauge while knitting this, but you can use this as a chance to explore new color combos. You can just knit a little swatch. It's the amount of knitting as a swatch, but you can get comfortable with the techniques. So all the techniques I'm gonna show you for section 3, you could apply to the little swatch instructions. So that's a separate PDF you're gonna find with the Vertices Unite mini swatch. It's just designed for you to play with colors and for you to get used to the techniques if you wanna try it on the small size before tackling the big one. But let's get going with section 3, Vertices Unite, with those modular pickups. Vertices Unite section 3. I'm showing you on my mini swatch, but it's the same technique no matter what size of the pattern you're knitting. We're gonna pick up stitches using color E. Using E and with right side facing, pick up and knit 2 in the corner where section 1 and section 2 meet. So this is where I'm talking about. This is the corner, this little V shape, and you're gonna wanna pick up by going into, do you see that stitch where you picked up from for section 2? This color B stitch. I'm gonna go into that stitch for my first one to get 1 stitch picked up, and then just get one of those strands. Do you see that back strand? Just go into that single strand of yarn, and that could be your second stitch, okay? Just real easy. You can also go in anywhere. Just grab anything down here. The most important thing is you have 2 strands of yarn picked up and knitted right there. Turn for next row, wrong side. Knit front back. Knit into the front and back of the stitch. Knit 1. Turn to work row 1, right side. Slip 1 with yarn in front. The yarn is in front. Slip 1, then place yarn in back to knit. So the yarn was in front, just move it between the needles. So the yarn was here, just move it to the back to knit. Make 1 using the backwards loop cast on. So make 1 just like that. If you hold the yarn in your right hand, then make 1 like this. Do you see that little twist? This is the backwards loop cast on for make 1. Knit 1, make 1. Make a little twist like that, and make sure you see something like that. It's not a yarn over, it's not like that. You're doing this little twist for the make 1. Slip 2 with yarn in front. the last stitch and next selvage stitch from section 2. Okay, so first bring the yarn forward. The yarn needs to be in front, and then slip 2 with yarn in front. This is the first stitch, and then the second stitch is a picked up selvage stitch from section 2. It's that very first color C selvage stitch. So slip 2 with yarn in front. The yarn is in front. You slipped the last stitch, and then going from the back, get both legs of that selvage stitch. Just make sure it looks like this. Row 2, wrong side, knit 2 together. Knit that last, do you see that color E stitch that you slipped? Knit that together with your selvage stitch. Knit 2 together. Knit 3. 1, 2, 3. Slip, slip, knit. Slip the last stitch knitwise, and the next selvage stitch from section 1 like this. And you're going to knit those 2 together through the back loop for the slip, slip, knit. Let's do that one more time. When you reach the last stitch, you're going to do this at the end of every wrong side row. Slip, slip, knit. Slip the last stitch knitwise. Slip the next selvage stitch, or insert the needle into the front. And then the left needle can come in like this, so that you can knit those 2 together through the back loop. If that's the first time you've ever done it, give it some practice. It's the same thing every time on the wrong side. One more time, slip, slip, knit, knitwise, dive into the front of that selvage stitch, and knit those 2 together like that. Row 3, right side. Slip 1 with yarn in front, place yarn in back, knit front back twice. Knit front back to increase 1, knit front back. This is the second time. Knit 1, slip 2 with yarn in front. The last selvage stitch and the next picked up, the last stitch and the next selvage stitch from section 2. Get both legs of that selvage stitch. It should look like this. Row 4, wrong side. Knit 2 together. Knit your color E stitch together with that selvage stitch. Knit to last stitch. Slip, slip, knit. Slip the last stitch knitwise and dive into that next selvage stitch. We went into this one before because do you see that blue color E coming from that light stitch? This is the next one. Slip, slip, knit, knitting those 2 stitches together. You should have 7 stitches on your needle. Row 5, right side. Slip 1 with the yarn in front, place the yarn in back, knit front back, knit to last stitch. Knit to last 3 stitches. Sorry, not to last stitch. Okay, row 5, you just did the knit front back, knit until you reach the last 3 stitches. I'm at the end of row 5. Knit front back, knit 1, and slip 2 with yarn in front at the end of row 5. Slip 1, and here's that next picked up selvage stitch. 1, 2. You see 2 strands of yarn from that selvage stitch? That's always counted as 1 stitch. Row 6, wrong side, knit 2 together, knit to last stitch. slip, slip, knit the last stitch with the next picked up selvage stitch from section 1. Knit those two together through the back. Look at those beautiful selvage stitches. The wrong side is so beautiful with those modular details. Repeat those last 2 rows as many times as the pattern instructs. On my mini shawl swatch, I'm just going to repeat that a couple more times. But if you're knitting the small or large size of the pattern, pay close attention to repeat those rows 5 and 6 as many times as it says, and you are increasing 2 stitches on the right side. You're doing that knit front back on row 5 at the beginning and at the end. So keep on doing those increases and make sure that you have the right stitch count. If you've done that number of repeats and if you're 1 stitch off or you have 1 stitch too many, you can just sneak in an extra increase or sneak in an extra decrease at any time. But pay close attention to your pattern, and rows 5 and 6 are the exact same. Slipping with yarn in front, moving the yarn to the back, doing a knit front back into that 2nd stitch, and the knit front back at the end of the row happens in that 3rd to last stitch. Knit front back, knit 1, and then slip 2 with yarn in front. And one more time on row 6, whenever you're working the beginning of row 6, you always knit your color E stitch together with that picked up selvage stitch. And then just knit to your last stitch. And the most important thing to remember when you reach the last stitch, you slip it knitwise. The most important thing is to go into the front of that next selvage stitch. And if you don't know which one is the next one, just pull your knitting apart a bit to make sure you see, oh look, there's that color E, that's going through that stitch, so I already worked that stitch. This yellow one is the next one. So you dive into the front. Knit those 2 together, and you'll get that beautiful detail on the wrong side. If it doesn't look like this, then give it some practice. You can try that little mini Vertices Unite swatch to get comfortable with that technique, but keep on going to build that beautiful seamless modular join. This is the completed pickup for section 3 of the large size. Once you're done picking up stitches, you'll attach all of the edge stitches to section 2, and then you'll be about partway through the edge of section 1, and then you're going to keep on knitting your section 3, your garter stitch, and you will continue attaching with that same slip slip knit technique to your section 1 edge, but you're out of edge stitches from here, so then you just get a fresh edge from section 3, but just follow it closely as written. Section 3 is that most important part to get used to those techniques, and the same techniques that knit 2 together, the slip slip knit pickup, are the same techniques used for the other sections, and you'll get that beautiful, nice selvage detail on the wrong side. Well, that's the Vertices Unite. Once you try that technique that I just showed you, it's the same principles, that same slipping at the end of the right side, or doing that slip slip knit at the end of the wrong side row to attach the edges together. And then once you're done, you just gotta weave in a couple ends, pop on that I-cord bind off, and rock your finished Westknit shawl. Whenever I finish these knitted shawls, I soak them in water and I wet block them. So soak it in water, just lay it flat to dry. I don't use any pins for this. I just soak it in water, squeeze out the excess water, lay it on a rug, lay it on a bed if nobody's sleeping on it, and then you're ready to block and rock your shawl. Once you knit this shawl, you're gonna wanna knit another one and try the small size of the pattern. This is the large, which is a really nice, generous wrap, but that small size is a really good gift knit, and you could have Vertices Unite for all your friends and family. So check out those instructions for both sizes, and I'd love to see what colors you choose. So you can always share all your projects on Ravelry with your project and yarn details, and even customize. I used 5 colors, but there have been some amazing knitters who have done like self-striping yarns for that color E section 3. And you could add some extra color pops in any of the sections. So share all those yarn ideas in your project notes on Ravelry or with hashtag VerticesUnite on Instagram. So thanks for watching. There'll be some more tutorials coming for you this year, and can't wait to learn new things with you. And thanks for coming along for the ride.